This tutorial is about source authority and analysis. I'm going to actually combine them together because I've realized that some of the mistakes you were making had to do with, so I think some of you guys thought you were doing source authority, but you were actually analyzing. So I'm just going to actually do it together and hope that that answers some of your questions. All right, so for the source authority and analysis, both of them should come after the explanation. They're part of the body paragraph. They're under the guise of content. It's what we're going to be assessing with content. The source authority is a specific example that proves your purpose. It can be a story, or it can be data, or anything that will prove your point. It must be specific, though. I need details. The number one mistake that people make when they write about their source authority is that they're too general in what it is that they're saying. In the analysis, you want to analyze how your source authority proves your purpose. So if you don't have strong source authority, you can't have strong analysis. So if you got source authority wrong, chances are you got your analysis wrong as well. Writers can make the mistake of assuming that a reader can make the connection between the source authority and the analysis, but it's actually the writer's responsibility to make that connection for them. So the reader shouldn't have to guess why you put that quote in there. You need to explain why you put that quote in there and what that has to do with what it is you're trying to prove. That's your analysis. All right, so here's a body paragraph, okay? And I'm going to go through it with you because you need to see the topic sentence, what the purpose is, so on and so forth. So my mom has had a significant influence on me because she taught me to be kind-hearted. Now, the next part is the explanation. Being a kind-hearted individual means feeling sympathy for others and trying to understand other people's situations without judging. One day in December, my mom and I ventured off to go shopping in New York City around Christmas time, which is usually really crowded. We got on the train early in the morning with dozens of others. I remember getting on and seeing no available seats but one in the middle of the train. I took the seat out of excitement, and my mom stood happily beside me. The next stop, an older woman came on, leaning on her cane and barely being able to hold up her purse. My mom noticed she had nowhere to sit and nudged me on the shoulder to give up my seat. At first, I rejected without even considering it, but then she explained to me how it's the right thing to do, and so I stood up and offered my seat. The lady was very thankful, and I felt so good the rest of the day thanks to my mom teaching me what it means to be kind-hearted. Okay, so right there, that is her source authority. It's very specific. It's a moment in time. It is a snapshot in time where I am on the train with her and her mom is teaching her this lesson with this old woman on the train. Okay, so it's not general. It's very specific, and it's an example in which her mom taught her to be kind-hearted. Now, the next part is going to be her analysis. Okay, so she proved that her mom taught her to be kind-hearted, but now we have to prove that it was a significant influence. It can only be a significant influence if it comes up later in her life. So there she goes on to say, since that day on the train when my mom corrected me, I've had multiple opportunities to express what I've learned from her. Whether it's giving up my seat for somebody else or offering up my time to listen to somebody's story without judging, I've used being kind-hearted as a way to make myself and others feel good. Boom. She's analyzing how being taught to be kind-hearted influenced her significantly. Okay, so that's an example, and then that's the concluding sentence. All right, so let's go on to another paragraph. All right, so to articulate the theme jealousy, Knowles uses the literary device of point of view. Now, the next part is going to be point of view. Point of view is the position from which someone or someone is observed. Knowles uses the literary device of point of view in the book A Separate Piece through the narrator, Jean, who consistently talks about wanting to be like Finney. Okay, so now we're going to get a specific example. He's going to say an actual quote. I spent as much time as I could alone in our room trying to empty my mind of every thought, to forget where I was, even who I was. I decided to put on his clothes. This gave me such intense relief. I would never stumble through the confusions of my own character again. This is a specific quote. He's not just saying Finney's always jealous throughout the whole book. Not Finney, Jean's always jealous of Finney throughout the whole book. The whole book is about him being, he's not making general statements. He gives a specific passage. Then he's going to go on and analyze it. In the statement that Jean makes, he demonstrates such an intense desire to be like Finney that he even dresses in his clothes. He then goes to say that if he could be like Finney, then he would not have to be like himself, which is inferior to Finney. This proves from his point of view that he's jealous, that he's jealous of the person Finney is, and he does want to be confused character that he is. Okay, so there he's analyzing how this quote, specifically talking about the specifics, the clothes, feeling inferior to him, so on and so forth. So that's the the source authority is the specific example, and the analysis is how the source authority proves the purpose. Okay, here's one that isn't as well written. Okay, so my trip to Rome was a significant experience, and it impacted my understanding of new languages. Many people, if not everyone, knew at least 2 languages, and this made me want to understand the people and learn a new language. In Rome, all of the people speak 2 or 3 languages, which made me feel very ignorant because I only know 1 language and I'm just starting to learn a second at the age of 16. When I was in Rome, if I had a question, I would ask in English and everyone would know what I was saying, but I felt like I should have asked them in Italian because it's their first language. Okay, do you see how this is very general? So every time he asked a question, he felt like everybody understood what he was saying, and it's general. What I want is a specific moment when this person was in Rome where he asked a question and felt inferior. Okay, take me to that exact spot. Just like the previous student took us on the train with her and her mother, this child needs to take us to Rome with him. Okay? And again, it doesn't matter what comes next because he doesn't have a strong source authority. The analysis is going to fall weak because we have to be able to analyze the source authority. So without a good source authority, you can't have the analysis. Here's another example. My brother has had a significant positive influence on my behavior. My brother has and still is a good influence on me because of his motivation and drive to accomplish his goals. My brother has worked tirelessly after his dreams ever since he was a kid, and because he works so hard, I've adopted some of that ethic and tried to put my best foot forward so I wouldn't disappoint the people around me. Because we spent so much time together. So you see how, once again, this is all general stuff. Okay? He's worked tirelessly after his dreams. Okay, well, what are his dreams? When did he do this? What made him so tired in the first place? So there's no specifics. So he doesn't actually have an anecdote. He doesn't actually have a story that proves that his brother worked tirelessly to accomplish his dreams. Okay? And from then on, it doesn't matter what you write. Next, for the analysis, without a source authority, you can't have analysis. All right, so I hope you understand that with your source authority, you need to be specific, you need to go into detail, and the analysis has to connect back to the topic of the purpose, and your topic being what you proved in your source authority. All right, good luck.